let me explain to you then what I've cut out from the pull tab die set. So this long die, like I mentioned, is the one that you're going to use to make the main part of your pull tab mechanism, and you're going to cut that out of the same colour cardstock that you're going to have in your background. So I've used green because we've got a green background, and that's the colour that I want to be seen through the little slot that we make. My screen's gone off again. So I've cut this out of some green cardstock first, and then I've also cut it out of 2 pieces of white cardstock. And the reason that I've done that is because it is longer. It's going to need a little bit more weight to it to keep it sturdy when you pull it backwards and forwards. You don't want to use a really thin piece of cardstock and it buckle when you're doing it. If you're using a smaller pull tab mechanism, you won't need to use a thicker weight of cardstock, because it won't have that tendency to buckle. But because I know this is going to be a slimline, I've reinforced it, if you like. So I've cut that, and that's ready to go. I've then also cut my background piece, which is going to be the bit that our mechanism is going to pop through. So this is our landscape. So looks a little bit odd, but I'll explain to you how I've created this. So first of all, I've cut my green cardstock using this smaller slimline scallop die. So I've cut that out so that I've got the same shape going all the way around, so that matches. I've then used our slimline seam builder dies to create my sloped edge. So that's the edge here that I've created, and that's given me my little hillside. Does that make sense so far? Everyone with me?
Makes sense to me. Cool.
So this die here, this is a long slim die. This die is going to create the little slot that you see there. So this is the little gap just here. And again, like I said, that comes in 3 different sizes, so you can either cut one that size, or you could cut one that size, entirely up to you. But we're going for a mechanism that goes all the way across our piece, so I've used the longest one. I've also die cut this little notch here, and that's been cut using this die right here. So I've lined that up on the edge of my cardstock and just cut out this little horseshoe shape. The reason for the horseshoe is that you'll want to be able to grab your pull tab through that gap. So that creates this little horseshoe just here. All makes sense so far?
Yeah.
Excellent. So so that's those bits done. So that's the foundations, if you like. I've then also got a little pot here of some other bits that I've cut out that will help us with our mechanism. So this die just here cuts out this shape, and this shape has, and I don't know if you can see it on screen, has got 4 score lines on it. I'm hoping that you'll be able to see that. I might have to bring it a little bit closer.
Yeah, I mean, you can see it on the screen. If you want to bring it closer, then do.
Just a little bit closer, you can see those. I think they're quite visible. And you're going to fold and you're going to bend your cardstock where those lines are, and you're going to use those to create this shape. So it's like, I imagine it being a little man with his feet in the air, or his legs in the air, and there are his little feet. Okay, that's going to wrap around your pull tab and sit like so. Okay, that makes sense. And it's not going to move. It's going to stick to your pull tab. Now the reason, you may see some dies where this is attached to the end of your pull tab and is already attached for you. I deliberately didn't do that because I knew that you might want to attach something like our larger car, so you wouldn't want it to be right at the end of your pull tab. You might want it to be a little bit further along. Okay, everyone's gone quiet because they're concentrating. That's cool. Okay, so that's that little piece. We'll pop that to one side for the moment. I've also die cut this element, which is using this die here, and this piece is what's going to sit on the end of your pull tab mechanism. Oops, the other way around. So it's got a little score line just there, and that's going to fold over the edge so that you can tell people which direction to pull. So obviously if it's going that way, it wants to be on that end. If it's going the other way, then it'll be on that end. So you can you can use it either way. Now it does cut out the little arrow, and I've die cut that out of some white cardstock so that I can have a contrasting colour of arrow.
Right, okay.
So you can do that any colour that you want. Okay, so that's those pieces. And then the final piece that you're going to have is this just weird kind of odd looking random rectangle, which I've cut out of some green cardstock, but it doesn't have to be green. You're not going to see this piece, but this needs to be a lighter weight. So where we wanted our pull tab mechanism to be a little bit stronger, this doesn't need to be. This can be a lighter weight cardstock because we're going to use this just to secure our pull tab in place.
Does it have to be the same colour?
No, it can be any colour you want because you're not going to see it.
Okay.
So
I've just done it out of green because you had a bit of spare.
Just because I had a bit of spare green,
yeah.
and I knew it was the right kind of weight of cardstock for me. So let's start putting this together now. So I don't need my background for the moment, and I'm going to use the car that I already coloured and I showed you earlier on. What little critter do you want in the car is my question to you all. I think we'll use the stop sign as well. We'll use this one.
Well, I'll let people say I like the alpaca.
You want the alpaca? Okay, well, we'll see what everybody votes for. Let's see if I can grab some bits out of here.
Yep. Alpaca, llama, alpaca.
Oh,
alpaca.
There we go. Alpaca my bags.
Alpaca my bags.
So, so we're going to have the little alpaca in there.
Alpacas and llamas are very similar, by the way.
Are they?
Alpacas
I thought they were the
smaller
same,
than llamas, but they're from the same family.
Same family.
And they are used regularly for crossbreeding.
Oh, there you go. Who's giving you this information?
I got it off the internet.
Did you Google it?
But there was some people really early on. I mean, it seems like a long time ago now. There's millions of comments on this one. I don't know how many, but I can. So going back to the
right back to the beginning. So I'm going to just now test where I want my pull tab to be. So I've wrapped my little legs, or whatever we're calling them, around my my pull tab, and I'm pinching those pieces together. I'm going to pop them through this slot here. Okay. So now they pop through, and you can see when we open that back up, that's given us a space to add our little car. Okay, so I just want to make sure then that that's in the right place for me for where my car is going to start. Now I know that my mechanism is slightly longer here than my card, so that's fine. I can snip that off. And I also, if I turn this over, I want to make sure that I've got a space here to add a little bit of a stopper on the end, which I'll do with some foam tape. So that seems to be in the right position, I would say, there from that point of view. And then if I flip it back over and I pop my car on the front, I want my car to cover the end of here. So I'm going to move that slightly over. And then if I pop my car there, I think that's in the perfect position. So I know that's in the right spot. So I can move that back out of there, and I'm just going to open this up, flip that over, and I'm going to add some glue to the back of here. Hope I'm still in frame there. I feel like I've gone a little bit low down. So I'm only going to add glue to the back of my little legs. Fold that over, fold that back in place. These are going to stay open, but I'm going to, when we pop our car on the front, they will be secured in place, you see. So I'm going to leave that as it is. Pop them
so they slide through
back through the
gap.
slot,
Okay,
the slot even.
Yes, making a bit more sense now you're putting it together. When you explained it at the beginning, I was lost.
You were a bit lost,
yeah.
yeah. So that's when you see it coming together, it all makes sense.
Yeah.
So now that's in place, and we know that that's in the right place there. I can just trim off the end here. So I'm going to take my scissors, and I'm just going to trim off. Yeah, you could leave it sticking out if you wanted to, but I'm going to just trim mine off a little bit. Oh, there we go. So at the moment it's very flappy and movable and moving around, but we will fix that. So I want to attach my little arrow now. So I'm going to take my my glue, pop that all over the back of there. So we want to make sure this is nice and secure. This is going to get a lot of touching because people are going to be using it to pull the mechanism. So use a good strong glue to stick that down. I wouldn't just use like a tape runner because I think that would be likely to pop off. And then I'm just going to, let me move them up there a little, pop some glue in the centre and pop my my little arrow in there. Now the arrow, I actually used the bit of red that had came out of that die as well to double it up so that it's created a bit of dimension and it's a little bit more obvious that that's in there. So that's cool. So now I've got my mechanism there. Again, I'm just going to pop this back through here. Make sure this is all lined up. Excellent. And then I'm going to flip this over. And this is where this little chap comes in, because this little chap is going to stop this from flapping around. You see? So I'm going to move this out of the way. And the reason that this hasn't got any score lines in it is because you may be using a thick piece of cardstock like I'm doing here. So you don't want, you want to be able to move it to the right place for you. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to add some glue onto here, and I'm going to glue that along there in that space there. Pop my mechanism over the top of it. I think that's just popped out of there, but I'll just pop that back in. Okay, and then I'm going to fold it over the top, and I'm going to glue these pieces together. I'm going to keep them quite loose, so I'm not going to make it too tight around this area here. I want to keep it quite loose so that it moves, but it doesn't wobble too much, if that makes sense. So a bit of glue on the back of there, and a bit of glue on the back of there, and that'll secure that in place. And now that'll keep your mechanism nice and smooth. You see how that's moving really smoothly now. So to prevent this from popping back through your gap, that's where your little car comes in. So let's just attach our little llama to our car here.
I remember you building this for the first time out of like, you know, scrap bits of card and
yeah.
I knew.
I was buzzing, wasn't I, when it worked?
Buzzing. It is very kind of complex, but when you start putting it together, it's quite simple.
Honestly, once you put it together once, you will not have any problems with it at all. It is really, really easy to do.
So you've just glued that straight on, so there's no need to foam tape or anything like that. There's enough space there anyway. because it's
Perfect.
sliding on the
Yeah.
card that kind of
If
comes
you
up and
wanted
flats
to add,
over.
if you wanted to add a bit more dimension, you could add foam tape. Absolutely. If you wanted something to come a little bit higher, so let me just show you. Oh, I think you've taken the other one that I did with the panda in, the scallop one.
No.
Yes.
Ah, you got
So
the
if I
traffic
just
lights
show
there,
you
yeah.
this one, he's sitting a little bit higher up because I used the road. So I actually folded that those little feet. So I've got the feet here. I actually folded those up and then added an extra piece of cardstock up over the top going that way so that I could make him a little bit taller.
Yeah.
So there are ways to manipulate that if you need to, depending on your project.
And that one with the road there, that's covering up the hole.
Yes,
for
the road covers the whole.
Yeah, so literally like from looking at it, you don't even know.
Exactly. So I'm now going to
He's
use
crashed
some.
into traffic lights
As he crashed into the traffic. Well, he was meant to stop.
Well, it's red, orange and green, so I didn't know which.
You didn't know
ones
which one to
not
follow.
do.
So I've added some of my foam tape here because that will act as a barrier to stop it going right the way through. Okay, so you're going to use a little bit of foam tape there, and then we're going to add foam tape all the way along here and foam tape all the way along here. We're not going to adhere any of this, obviously.
And that's just to give it a bit more of a track, isn't it, to work in, so you
Yes.
don't, you know, in case you do pull it a bit too much, you don't want to pull it out of its
Yeah, but out of its guidelines.
yeah, out of its guidelines. That's it. Yeah.
That's it. So the raised area will just allow it to flow a little bit freer. You're not going to stick this bit down. You're not going to stick this bit down. They need to stay free. So a bit of foam tape along the bottom, and then a bit of foam tape along here. Have I done that too long? Nope. Yay. So, and you'll be able to see then why I've added this little bit of green along the back, because when you pull your pull tab, you will then only see green behind the pull tab, whereas if we'd left it white, you'd have seen the white background.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Makes sense. For anybody obviously that's following this, obviously this Facebook is will be available, and it will be going onto YouTube as well.
Absolutely.
Joe,
I'm also going to be editing it.
We'll be snipping this bit out.
I'll be editing this bit out so that you can watch just this bit on via the website. So when you go and search for the Pull Tab Die, you'll be able to see this tutorial.
But there's also, Jane's also done a tutorial as well, hasn't she?
She has, yes.
So there'll be multiple tutorials.
Tutorials. So now you can see we've got a little llama tramming along, which is very cute. And we can pop this now onto our card base. So let's add some glue.
Zooming.
Yeah, the only complaint that I had was that I didn't do a beep beep.
Yeah, I can't believe you do a beep beep on this.
I feel like I should have done a beep beep, but
beep beep,
you might have to type your own beep beep.
Yeah.
Have I done that upside down? Oh, thought I'd done it upside down again.
That wouldn't be the first time.
It wouldn't be the first time. So I think we can have our little stop sign, which is a little XO sign.
XO.
So the little the little stamp that is this kind of weird little shape is actually the pole that fits both this and your traffic lights. So that works for both of those.
Traffic lights are shown in this one here.
They are. So those are your traffic lights. Now what I would just advise you of is, if you're adding anything else into your background or into your scene, make sure, oh, I didn't need to put glue on the back of that, I should have put a little bit of foam tape. Make sure it's not going to interfere with your mechanism, so you don't want it to be raised up so that then your mechanism doesn't move. So that's just something to be aware of. But that should be alright. I don't think I need to put any foam tape on that. And then to finish off, we probably just need a bit of a sentiment, don't we? So the one that I liked on the one that I did before was the Hugs This Way, but I think maybe Happy Travels would be a good one.
Happy Travels.
Happy Travels. And I think I quite like it being, can't move my fingers. Maybe just having it a little bit off like that looks quite cute.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, I like that also. So I'm just going to...
Quick sticks?
Yeah, I was going to use my quick sticks, but I don't know if it'll... it should work, just to pick it up. There we go. So we'll add the Happy Travel. So, you know, that it is really, really simple to do. You just follow those steps. You just need to make sure that you've got enough room around the outside of your little track here to add your foam tape. And the rest of it is just really straightforward. Once you've done it once, you'll be doing them all the time because they are so cool. And I think that I'm going to do this little little heart.
What about
Hello?
from the Blooming Bunny set? What about a bunny with a wheelbarrow?
Oh yeah.
On the pull tab.
Oh, that's such a cool idea. Yes.
That'd work, wouldn't it?
That really would work. So we'll do a little heart there, which looks cute, and then
skating penguins, yeah, great shout, Laura.
such a good
Skating
idea.
penguins.
There are so many ways that you can use this pull tab. You're going to be able to use it on all kinds of different things. I think, you know, the little the Lucky Ducks that were out last month, the one that sat down could be like swimming along the water. I think that'd be really cute to do.
Yeah. They're sold out though, them.
They are sold
So
out. But
you have to make sure that you've got
they're
that
coming.
set.
Yeah, they're coming back in stock though. They will be back in stock for anybody that missed out on the ducks.
Yeah, I love that the pull tab as well. I know you've done yours that way. You've done your other one that way as well.
Yeah.
But you can literally
You can
go in any direction.
You can do it in any direction, any way you want. So these are the little birds that I mentioned before, which I just think are really cool to just add a little bit of something, you know, in that sky, just to
Oh, there's
just fills it up a little bit, doesn't it?
Pig on the scooter from the Hugs and Kisses set.
Yes. Look at you looking for all the little things. So I think in the background here, if you wanted to, you could add a little bit more detail and a few more things, you know, maybe some more critters in the background would look kind of cute there, just waving to him as he goes by. So some of the critters from the Happy New Year set are perfect for that because they're waving. So yeah, so I think maybe I would perhaps do that if we had a bit more time. But I think that, you know, that has shown just how simple that can be, and what a cute card is that, and how much fun is it going to be just
really good.
being able to move your little alpaca. That's really cute.
Thinking about what about the?
And you see there what I mean about the green in the background? That's where you'd be able to see the white. So that's why it's important to make that match. Oh, sorry, whatever your foreground is.
Yeah.